A very good evening, welcome to Champions League Live as we round off match day 5 in the Champions League. 7 games kicking off at 8 o'clock tonight, including 3 English teams in action. Arsenal hosting Bayern Munich is our commentary game tonight. Alongside that, Liverpool are in action after what has been a terrible last few weeks, and even at the weekend for them, has it got really bad for Liverpool? It seems like it has. But they have PSV Eindhoven heading to Anfield, and Spurs have the nice easy trip, a trip to Paris to face off the European champions at the Parc des Princes. We'll keep an eye on those games, as well as Atletico Madrid taking on Inter Milan, a very intriguing clash there in Madrid. Eintracht Frankfurt hosting Atalanta, Real Madrid's trip to Olympiacos, and Sporting taking on Club Bruges as well in Portugal. Those are the 7 games kicking off at 8 o'clock tonight. For the 2 early games this evening, Copenhagen narrowly beating Caoimhan Almaty by 3-2 there in that one in Denmark, of course, tonight. A very topsy-turvy game, actually. Copenhagen were 3-0 up in that game in the 73rd minute, so Caoimhan Almaty proving a little bit of a comeback should have been on the cards for them, and was not too far away. Come close of that game, it finished 3-2 to Copenhagen, and a much needed result for Copenhagen. Their first win in the competition this season, and a 4th defeat for Caoimhan Almaty has them second bottom in the league table. So moving up the table for Copenhagen, much needed as well. A very good result for Paphos though against AS Monaco there in Cyprus this evening. Of course, a very open game, that one. Takumi Minamino gave Monaco the lead early doors. It was a back and forward first half. David Luiz scored for Paphos tonight, former Arsenal player, of course. Felo Balogun, also a former Arsenal player, funnily enough, also scored in that first half for Monaco. But an own goal for Mohamed Salisu, of course, the former Southampton player, got the draw for Paphos. A very good draw it is for them indeed in Monaco. A result they probably would have wanted would be a win, but they'll take a draw away from home. And 2 very high scoring games to start the night. 9 goals from our 2 early games. Let's hope that the 7 8 o'clockers give us some excitement as well, and none more so here at the Emirates. Arsenal taking on Bayern Munich, and all the build up to this game about the top 2 in the league phase so far, at the halfway stage of the league phase. And tonight they face off against each other. One at least will have to drop points tonight, and which one will it be? With Arsenal's very good home form and that incredible result in the North London derby at the weekend, but a Bayern Munich side who are not too shabby themselves. A very long unbeaten run, dating all the way back to the Club World Cup. They are yet to lose a game this season, Bayern, so they will be a tough task for Arsenal at any stretch of the imagination tonight. But an Arsenal side yet to concede in the competition this season. Lots of factors to get excited about for this game tonight. It's Arsenal against Bayern Munich in the Champions League. And usually this is a knockout stage type of matchup, but that's where the league phase gives us some really exciting ties early in the competition. Let's see how both teams line up for this one tonight. David Raya starts in goal for Arsenal. Jurrien Timber, William Saliba and Miles Lewis-Skelly are amongst the back 4. Mosquera comes into the side, with Nkapie dropping out after his first Premier League start at the weekend. Martin Zubamendi, Declan Rice and Abereyeza continue in the midfield, with Trossard on the left, Saka on the right, and Marino continues at centre forward. On the bench, Kepa, Setford, White, Nkapie, Calafiori. Martin Odegaard returns to the bench. He's fit enough for the bench tonight, which is a boost for Mikel Arteta's side. Alongside Norgard, Madueke, Nwaneri and Martinelli. Still no Victor Gyökeres available for the Gunners. For Bayern Munich, well, as I said, unbeaten this season and 4 wins out of 4 in the Champions League. They're as tough a task as Arsenal could really ask for tonight. Manuel Neuer starts in goal. A back 4 of Leimer, Ta, Upamecano and Stanisic in defence. Pavlovic and Joshua Kimmich are in that midfield too, with young Lennart Karl starting in the 10. Michael Elise, very well known to these Arsenal players, he starts at right wing. Serge Gnabry off the left, and a man who is definitely known to the Arsenal players, Harry Kane, the former Spurs striker, of course, starts up front for Bayern Munich tonight. On the bench for Bayern, Ulrich, Urbig, Kim, Ito, Guerrero, Boy, Bischoff, Goretzka, Jackson, Nicholas Jackson, and Wisdom Mike. So 2 sides that are impeccable to start this Champions League campaign, but at least one of them will leave here tonight either beaten or dropping points. We will find out. Kick-off between Arsenal and Bayern Munich amongst 7 games kicking off at 8 o'clock is next. A very good evening. Welcome to Champions League Live. Great to have your company for this one tonight. Some very exciting games to look at tonight, as I said, including 3 English teams, but the main event is here in North London at the Emirates. Arsenal taking on Bayern Munich. Arsenal absolutely demolished their local rivals at the weekend by 4-1. A non-contest really. This one will be a much tougher task for the Gunners here this evening as Bayern get us underway. And we are off and running then in this one amongst the rest of our games across Europe. Of course, as I said, Arsenal and Liverpool at home tonight. Spurs on their travels away at PSG, the team they met in the Super Cup final, of course, in late August. So Thomas Frank will have a bit of a revenge job on there for Spurs in the French capital. Here in the English capital, it is the red side of North London that is much happier after the weekend's results, and a much tougher opponent for Arsenal than Spurs seemingly turned out to be. Here's Konrad Leimer. And Bayern Munich in their away strip tonight of all black. Arsenal in, of course, red shirts, white shorts, as is tradition. Here's Deo Upamecano. Back to Joshua Kimmich. And across to Pavlovic. And to get some passes going early here are Bayern. Serge Gnabry comes in for the suspended Luis Diaz after he scored 2 goals last time out. Diaz got himself sent off in that game, so he's not available for this one tonight. Welcome in, Andy. Thank you very much for joining us. Andy says no excitement, 1-0 to Arsenal with the only shot on goal. Expecting a low scoring game. I expect both teams to score tonight, albeit Arsenal haven't conceded in the Champions League yet, but I just think there's too much quality between these 2 teams. Although I did say that last night between Chelsea and Barcelona, and it ended up a pretty comfortable Chelsea win, but I just don't see Bayern Munich not scoring. Arsenal are not the most impenetrable defence now, without Gabriel, of course, which is a big body blow that he is injured and will remain injured for a few weeks. But a boost, as I said tonight. Martin Odegaard on the bench for the Gunners. Haven't had much of the ball in the first 2 minutes. Been a lot of Bayern possession. Here's Pavlovic. And welcome in Dan as well joining us. Thank you very much indeed. Do get involved in the chat, as well as hitting that like button. Do subscribe and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already. We're keeping an eye on all the rest of the games tonight as well at Anfield. Liverpool in much need of a result albeit not a bad return in the Champions League this season. 3 wins out of 4. That's that only game they didn't win was that defeat away at Galatasaray where they were beaten 1-0. Other than that, they've won every game, including some tough ones as well. Of course, Real Madrid last time out at Anfield as well was a majorly tough one, but they rose to the occasion that night at Anfield, did Liverpool. They take on PSV Eindhoven, who they met actually last season in the league phase and lost to in Eindhoven, but that was already after they'd qualified as top spot really. They'd won 7 of their 7 games going into that final game of the league phase. A bit of a heavy challenge there by Jonathan Tah, and Abereyeza wins a free kick. See it here, yeah, he just kind of bundles him over and he's holding his left knee there, Eza. And a free kick here to Arsenal, who've barely had the possession in the first 3-4 minutes, but have a good opportunity here to test the Bayern defence. We have a penalty at Anfield, I believe. Not quite sure what for. Oh, it might be for a handball against Virgil van Dijk, I think. It is. Anyway, we'll get to that in a moment. Free kick to Arsenal then, right hand side. It's Rice over it. Declan Rice, right footed. Into the box it comes, and the header is off target from William Saliba. Good ball in by Declan Rice. Could be a hint of offside. If he's onside here, he might just be leaning offside. Yeah, he's just... Either way, it's well off target. And as I said, the penalty at Anfield stands. It's a penalty to PSV. It is Ivan Perisic against Georgi Mamardashvili. No Alisson for Liverpool tonight. He's ill. So it is Mamardashvili between the sticks for Liverpool. And he has a opportunity. Has to defend this. And it is scored. Ivan Perisic gives PSV Eindhoven the lead at Anfield. And our first goal of the night has come for the visitors, and the Dutch manager of Liverpool losing to a Dutch team at home after just 6 minutes, less than 6 minutes on the clock. Van Dijk argues, but I've seen one replay of it and there's no doubt. His hand is straight in the air as high as it can go, and it hits his hand. It's handball, and it is a penalty, and well scored by Ivan Perisic into the bottom right corner. And that's our first goal of the night. It's 1-0 to PSV Eindhoven. Back here at the Emirates though, and still goalless, but Arsenal have a throw in down the right hand side with Declan Rice. Try and go for the long throw here, Rice. Lobbed into the area, flicked on and bounced around as Upamecano got his foot to that one to clear it away. And Lewis Skelly getting caught in possession by Joshua Kimmich. Worked it nicely out to Konrad Laimer on the left hand side. And we'll go back to ways with it to Ta and then Upamecano. Out to the right hand side with Stanisic, and out for the throw in. Bit of a low key start to this one. Chance for William Saliba, the only real opportunity we've seen at either end so far. Here's Joshua Kimmich. Seems to drop inside alongside the centre-back, Joshua Kimmich, in that kind of dictator role. Just dictates the possession and drops a little deeper from midfield. Upamecano decides to go long this time, but to no avail, and it's nicely cleaned up by Christian Mosquera. And back to his goalkeeper, David Raya. Saliba to Timber. Lovely little turn on the ball, spins away from his marker in Olise. And then Saka inside. Saka with the ball in space, a little bit short out there to Trossard. Nicely stepped in with Stanisic. He battled for the ball there, lost it out. As it's bobbling around, Declan Rice takes control, and it's fed back inside to Zubimendi. He gets it off quickly. Marino dropping in behind. Goes Trossard. His flag stayed down. Trossard! And it's missed. Just off target as it bounces towards Saka now. Cuts it back. Miscue. Shot from Trossard is cleared away. And the flag eventually goes up. Whether it was a think for Trossard initially, it might have been. As we see it here again. And why they take 30 seconds to make this decision, quite clearly offside is Leandro Trossard. And all of that attack and play for literally no reason. And eventually it is given as offside. And a free kick to Bayern. We have another goal to tell you about. It's come in Greece tonight. Olympiacos taking on Real Madrid. And it is the hosts that have taken the lead. Olympiacos leading Madrid by a 0-0. A bit of pressure, some rumours over the last few weeks that Xabi Alonso might be under a little bit of pressure at Real Madrid. Well, that goal early doors is not going to help those rumours. And Madrid find themselves a goal down in Greece. It is Olympiacos 1 at Real Madrid 0. And the goal there from Chiquinho has given Olympiacos the lead. It's a Real Madrid side that have won 3 and lost 2. Or lost 1 of their 4 games. Of course, the only loss was against Liverpool last time out. Here's Pavlovic for Bayern. Out to the right-hand side it comes to Olise. Back to Joshua Kimmich. Crossing out of Ta. Out to the left-hand side comes Leimer. Saka dropping a little deeper, and Konrad Leimer has to work it back to Ta. And across to Upamecano. Now into Harry Kane, who drops deep. A few boos around the Emirates. Just trying to get some possession again. Bayern in the Arsenal half. Arsenal happy enough to sit off for the moment. Sit in their shape. The ball's worked back out wide here to Serge Gnabry. Back inside to Ta. Not much room between the lines for Bayern to try and exploit at the minute. Pavlovic to Kimmich. Down the right flank this time as they switch sides to try and find a bit of room. And as the ball tried to be cut inside by Stanisic, almost broken up there by Arsenal as he tried to target young Leonard Carl. Bayern do keep the possession. Upamecano. Joshua Kimmich. Just over 10 minutes gone here at the Emirates. Arsenal 0, Bayern 0. And Bayern dominant on the ball so far. Over 80% of the ball in the first 11 minutes. Here's Konrad Leimer. Really, nothing having done with it yet. Now, we have... I believe there was a red card in the game between Sporting and Club Brugge. A card was given. Morten Hjulmand, for Sporting was given a red card on the field. VAR overturned it and has just been given as a yellow card. So initially Sporting were down to 10, but that was overturned and downgraded to a yellow. Very rarely you see a red card downgraded to a yellow. It's usually the other way about, but on that occasion, red given on the field, overturned by VAR, and it's just a yellow. The ball switched out to the left here for Gnabry, but nowhere to go but out of the field, and guided that way by Urian Timber and out for the Arsenal throw. Another goal to tell you about this time in Madrid. Atletico Madrid taking on Inter Milan, 2 giants of European football, battling out there at the Wanda Metropolitano, and it is Atletico Madrid that have taken the lead in that one against Inter. There was a VAR check as to whether or not that goal should have stood, but the goal does stand, and it's Julian Alvarez that has the goal to give Atletico Madrid the lead. So they lead by a 0-0 against Inter Milan. And that is only the second goal that Inter have conceded in the league phase so far this season. An Inter side who came into this match week as well as the only other side, along with these two teams that we're watching here at the Emirates tonight, with all 4 games won in the league phase this season. But they have a tough task away at Atletico Madrid tonight. And it is 1-0 to Atleti at the moment. Still goalless, by the way, in the Parc des Princes between PSG and Spurs. Well, tough task for Spurs to go to the European champions, but not much has really happened so far in that one, and it remains goalless. Not much has really happened since the goal for PSV at Anfield. It remains Liverpool 0, PSV Eindhoven 1. Ivan Perisic's penalty separates the sides, and there has not been much action since there. It remains 0-1. And so far, not much between these two sides, you've got to say. Of course, Bayern have had the control of the ball in the first 15 minutes, but not much goal-mouth action. Both resolute defensively, these two teams. Bayern have conceded just 3 goals in the league phase, and Arsenal, as I said, already yet to concede a goal, so there's not much defensive errors or fragility between these two teams. They do put up the numbers though. Bayern have scored 14 goals in 4 games. It's an average of over 3 per game so far this campaign. Arsenal 11 goals scored in 4 games, so just under that 3 goals per game ratio. And it remains goalless. Here's Mosquera. Back to the right hand side for Saka. We have a goal at Anfield to tell you about. We'll get there in a second. Arsenal with the ball at the moment. A very rare occasion it seems in the first 14-15 minutes. Once I have pictures of that goal at Anfield, we'll tell you what has happened. But there has been a goal. I'm just going to see it now, and it is an equaliser. Liverpool are back on terms, and I can tell you what has happened. See it here. Picked up in the midfield. McAllister skips out to the left-hand side, finds Gakpo. Gakpo drives towards the box. Gakpo on his right foot has the shot saved, and it rebounds right into the path of Dominik Szoboszlai, who rolls it into the right-hand side of the net that was vacated by the goalkeeper. And Liverpool are back on terms. A bit of a fight back from Arne Slot's Reds after that early setback of a penalty conceded. And it is 1-1. Of course, that was really a much needed goal for Liverpool after what has been not so good last few weeks. And of course at the weekend, the record of their joint biggest home Premier League defeat at the weekend against Nottingham Forest without scoring as well. It's very rare that Liverpool don't score at Anfield. Well, that's not going to happen tonight because they have got themselves back on terms. By the way, we're stopped here at the Emirates. Bukayo Saka is down. Some blood from his nose, so he's been checked up on. And there's a man who keep a very close eye on Bukayo Saka, Thomas Tuchel, the England manager. Of course, Thomas Tuchel has a bit of a rest now. He can watch as many domestic matches as he wants now between this time and March, because there's no international football between now and March. So, a bit of a rest for Thomas Tuchel and his team, and a lot of thinking to do ahead of that World Cup the World Cup finals coming up next summer. What squad he's going to pick, who's going to be included. I'm sure Bukayo Saka will not be a question mark over his name. Surely he will be, if he's fit, certainly in the England squad, and he's back to his feet and has his nose plugged up there for the moment, so he should be okay to continue. So far, look at the possession stats. 29% for Arsenal, 71% for Bayern at this early stage of the game. Very intriguing that Bayern have had so much of the ball. Expect them both to be competitive in and out of possession, but have so much control without really any efforts anywhere near the Arsenal goal, never mind threatening the Arsenal goalkeeper. Their patience will not be evaded. Here is Michael Olise. He hasn't really had much of a run so far, but he's got on the ball there and won a free kick off Miles Lewis-Skelly. He just kind of dragged him down. Of course, a very good player, Michael Olise, joined Bayern in the summer after absolutely lighting it up in a Crystal Palace shirt for the last number of seasons. Same with the Berriese, really, getting his big move to Arsenal after lighting it up for Palace as well for the last few seasons. And he lit it up at the Emirates on Sunday. His first Arsenal hat-trick. An attacking chance here for Bayern. Free kick on the right-hand side. I think Joshua Kimmich that's over it. Kimmich right-footed the ball in. Headed away at the near post on that occasion. And recycled back to the Bayern goalkeeper Manuel Neuer, who gets rid of it quickly. Here's Michael Olise down the right hand side up against Trossard, who's dropped deeper. Olise gets the ball in towards the box, and it's going to be a corner. It took a deflection on the way through. As it goes behind, it will be a Bayern Munich corner. Of course, Vincent Kompany and Mikel Arteta very well known to each other. Arteta was on the Man City coaching bench when Vincent Kompany was the captain, of course. So very well known to each other. Corner delivered in high with the left boot to the back post. It's headed on by Upamecano and headed well wide by the Frenchman. And it is a goal kick. Again, a looping delivery from this right-hand side. It took a real whip around from height and dropped quite quickly for Deo Upamecano at the back post. And he just tried to glance it on, but was well wide of the target. No worry at all for David Raya or the Arsenal defence. Arsenal try the flick on there with Marino, but the Bayern defence able to mop that one up quickly. Oh, a little loose there on that occasion as the through ball again mopped up by Arsenal, or mopped up by Bayern against Arsenal. Saka battling, goes down, wanting a foul, not given one as they try and ply the press. Nicely won there by Marino, and he's won a corner. That's better, it seems, from the Arsenal crowd. That response to Martin Zubimendi there, winning a corner off Konrad Laimer. Well spotted by the official. It was not much of a touch, but it was a touch nonetheless, and definitely a corner to the Gunners on the right hand side. Just over 20 minutes gone, still goalless. Both sides have had just the one shot so far in the game. Bayern had their first corner a few moments ago. Now it's Arsenal's turn. Bukayo Saka, the take. Left-footed delivery, fizzed narrowly in and headed in. And it's 1-0. Jurrien Timber with a goal. Pops up from nowhere in the box, a very crowded area. And he heads it into the back corner. And Arsenal take the lead. Bayern had their chance from a corner a moment or so ago. That was well wide. And now Arsenal had their chance with their first corner. And they score through Jurrien Timber. Really, Bayern have been in control of this game in terms of the possession of the ball. Keeping Arsenal at bay. Well, one thing you certainly don't want to give Arsenal is a set-piece chance. And they did that. And they didn't really defend it well enough. Jurrien Timber gets there, flicks it on past Manuel Neuer, who throws his hands at it, doesn't quite reach it on that occasion. Yeah, it just gets past him, and it's into the far corner. Beautiful header by Jurrien Timber. Vincent Kompany complains, but there can't be no complaints. A clean goal. Again, Manuel Neuer claiming that he was fouled, but there's nothing in that. And Jurrien Timber, a cleaner goal as you'll get. And Arsenal 1, Bayern Munich 0. Beautiful. We talk about an Arsenal side who people have criticised being too over-reliant on set pieces, myself included if I'm honest. They scored 4 goals at the weekend without a set-piece goal. They return to the Old Faithful tonight to give themselves that 1-goal advantage in a massive game. Albeit here, it's going to be a free kick to Arsenal right away as Upamecano came crashing through. And that's going to be a free kick and a yellow card for the Bayern defender. Yeah, Mosquera was there and he was completely upended by Deo Upamecano. You can have no complaints. And I mean, I don't understand what they're really complaining about, Bayern Munich here. I mean, there's nothing in that. And even at that, even if he was touched, the ball was nowhere near coming in after he was touched by Jurrien Timber, and he was about 3-4 yards in front of him. So, yeah, there's nothing in that whatsoever, not at all. And that's a good goal. It was well stood. There was no doubt about that. But Bayern's complaints are completely unheard. Right, free kick to Arsenal then. A couple of goals going around the grounds. We'll tell you about them in a minute. A lot of action in Greece we'll get to in a minute in that Real Madrid game. Rice's ball into the box. Mosquera was the target as Bayern struggled to clear it away twice. I think that was Pavlovic trying to clear his lines and miscued the ball twice. Ultimately comes to nothing. Right, let's have a look at around the grounds again. A lot of action between Olympiacos and Real Madrid. Olympiacos, the last we told you, they were ahead in that one. They had taken the lead through Chiquinho. Well, in quick succession, 2 goals in 2 minutes for Kylian Mbappe, and Real Madrid lead by 2-1 against Olympiacos. And it is Olympiacos 1, Real Madrid 2. Kylian Mbappe with both goals. Vinicius Jr. setting up the first, and Arda Güler the second. And also a goal in Portugal between Sporting and Club Brugge. And Sporting, who thought they were down to 10 earlier, that was overturned by VAR and given us just a yellow. Well, they have taken the lead themselves. Giovanni Quenda has given Sporting the lead there. They're 1-0 to the good. Well, we remain goalless in Frankfurt and in Paris. The only 2 games without a goal so far. We have a goal here. Jurrien Timber heading in from a corner to give Arsenal the lead. After, as I said, Bayern had probably had more of the ball in the first 20 minutes, but really did nothing with it. Had a lot of possession, but not much attacking quality. And on that occasion, Moreno pressing Jozo Kimmich and winning an Arsenal throw-in. A bit too patient at the minute, Bayern, a little bit too slow with their play. Actually, the referee's given a free kick. The linesman gave a throw-in. The referee said it was a foul on Jozo Kimmich. You got to say, even we talk about Arsenal's defensive record, even at that, it's hard enough to score against Arsenal when you're level in the game, never mind when you've got that goal deficit, of which they have now, Bayern, to even try and get themselves back into the game. Never mind try and get something more than that out of Arsenal. A lot of sides have struggled in terms of that this season. Marina with a switch ball. Out to the left-hand side comes Trossard. Feeds it in behind. Finds Rice down the left-hand side. Back to Trossard. Trying to work an angle. Plays it into the path of Lewis Skelly, who was unmarked as he got a ball across. Pavlovic to clear away. And Long, but they look like they're just upping the tempo a little more, Arsenal. Just adding a little bit of energy and a little bit more intensity into their game. Slowly but surely. And Bayern Munich, just at the minute, seem to be struggling with finding answers to that Arsenal press. Well, historically, Arsenal have won only 3 of the team's 14 fixtures against each other, losing 8 of those games. And the most recent games that they played was the 23-24 quarter-finals. And Bayern Munich won 1-0 in the second leg in Munich. And a 3-2 aggregate victory overall to knock Arsenal out. It was the last time the two sides met. Jozo Kimmich scored the only goal of that game after Bukayo Saka, Leandro Trossard, Serge Gnabry and Harry Kane all scored in the first leg of that one in a 2-2 draw here at the Emirates. That was a few seasons ago. Interestingly enough, Bayern have won 4 of the last 5 games they've played against Arsenal, scoring 18 goals in those 5 games, so certainly finding joy against the Gunners in the last number of fixtures. A draw here at the Emirates in that 2-2 draw of the quarterfinals was the only time that Bayern haven't beaten Arsenal in the last 5. Tonight, a much tougher task. 28.5 minutes gone, Arsenal 1, Bayern Munich 0. Raya's long ball. It's over the head of everybody in there and guided back to Manuel Neuer. Here's Pavlovic. Right to Stanisic on the right hand side. There's room to manoeuvre on that one. Stanisic tried to lob it in behind for Harry Kane, but Arsenal again well aware of that. And Mosquera dealt with it comfortably. Here's Zubimendi. No matter what Arsenal really, or what Bayern really seem to try and throw at Arsenal, they're not really getting much joy at the minute. Arsenal just seem to have the answers for it. Certainly defensively, they don't look in any way worried at all by one of the most ruthless strikers in Europe, and Harry Kane, and form that he's in at the minute. As I've already told you, he scored on his last trip to the Emirates. And he did score last time out in the 6-2 win for Bayern over Freiburg. Did score in that one. Of course, has scored, of course, for England as of recently. Scored 2 goals against Albania in the World Cup qualifiers. A 2-0 victory for England. 5 goals in the Champions League this season for Harry Kane, so certainly firing in the Champions League. As here come Arsenal again, a chance to make it 2-0. Iberieza just poked it wide of the right post. He's already on some great form, him. Iberieza, 3 goals at the weekend, and he almost had a Champions League goal to add to what will be a pretty perfect week for Arsenal's number 10. Again, beautiful ball by Marino, nicely dinked towards him, and there was 4 Arsenal players there, and Eze was the one that got the chance to try and beat Manuel Neuer. And probably on that evidence, he probably should have. He just poked it well wide. Just seems like Arsenal can open Bayern Munich, open them up at will, and Bayern have really nothing to show. And is this part of the point that we were making last night of how well your English teams are doing in Europe this season? 6 teams in the top 12 coming into match week 5, that possibly all 6 English teams could reach the knockout stages. Is it a bit of English dominance in European football at the minute? As I said, 9 teams in European competitions this season across the 3 UEFA competitions. 6 of them in the Champions League, and as I said, all 6 of them into the top 12 coming into this match week. Man City and Newcastle a bit damaged with their defeats last night though, but positive so far from a number of the teams. That's a ball in behind Miozzo Kimmich, and in behind, and Bayern are back at level, and it's Leonard Carl, the youngster, and he's levelled the game from literally nothing from Bayern Munich. Long ball down the right hand side, fizzed across the box, and in comes Leonard Carl to fire it past David Raya. And the first goal that Arsenal have conceded in the Champions League this season is by a youngster that silences the Emirates. Again, it's been very cute, short passing from Bayern, trying to break Arsenal down. And this, just a long diagonal from the back, down the right hand side. I think it's Elise that makes the pass, just guides it across the edge of the 6-yard box, and Leonard Carl, unmarked as he arrives into the area, strikes it with his left foot on the half volley. Beautiful goal, As I said, literally from nothing. And Bayern Munich are back level. And look at Vincent Kompany's reaction to that goal. That was a bit of inspiration that Bayern Munich needed. And they've got their result for it. 1-1. And he seems to be taking the world by storm. We had a youngster taking Chelsea by storm last night with Estevao. And Lennart Carl seems to be doing the same for Bayern Munich. 17 years old. Doesn't turn 18 until February, does Lennart Carl, and he scored a wonderful goal in the Champions League against Arsenal. It's his second Champions League goal. Can you believe that? It's his second, and his first came in a 4-0 win over Club Brugge. And they're in behind again. Harry Kane here. That would be a real pain, as he was well marked there by the Arsenal defenders. Unable to try and add to... Well, it's been a positive last few minutes for Bayern. They get themselves back on terms. Fighting to try and take the lead there for a split second. And I really was slightly getting worried for Bayern Munich in the fact that they really had done nothing. And, well, he had offered very little in an attacking sense against Arsenal. Up until that goal. And again, I said they'd just been too ticky-tacky, too passive with Arsenal. I mean, they had so much of the ball in the first 10-15 minutes, but literally did nothing with it. Oh, a little bit of the poor defending there. Goodness me, Serge Gnabry almost gifted Bukayo Saka a chance one-on-one there with Manuel Neuer. Luckily he made it work, but wasn't the most convincing, and Gnabry does get his clearance there. Beautifully plucked out of the air by Lennart Carl. Here's Harry Kane. Back to Jonathan Tah. Swing it out to that right channel. Look at the space here. Beautifully taken in by Stanisic. They could be in again here, Bayern Munich. Stanisic with a chance. And he struck it well wide of the left post. And it's big chance again. It's that ball out to the right flank. Big chance out to the right flank. And the space was there for the goal for Bayern. And it was, again, the space there again. And almost getting a bit of joy there was Stanisic. Just dragged the shot well wide. Let's update you from around the grounds. We haven't had much to tell you as of recent, but Sporting have now doubled their lead against Club Brugge. In that one, Luis Javier Suarez has given Sporting the lead there. They double their lead, and Real Madrid are now 3-1 to the good. And it is a Kylian Mbappe hat-trick. A 7-minute hat-trick for Kylian Mbappe. He scored his first in the 22nd minute, and he scored his third in the 29th. Mbappe on fire at the minute, and putting Olympiacos to the sword. And Real Madrid 3-1 up there in Greece. Still goalless in Paris and still goalless in Frankfurt at the moment. Still level at Anfield. Liverpool 1, PSV 1, but Liverpool seemingly having more chances now and certainly threatening PSV Eindhoven a lot more since the equalising goal, but still remains 1-1 there. But Arne Slot's side seemingly pushing for that goal to try and give them the lead, but it remains 1-1 there. Leandro Trossard is down at the moment, or has been down, and it looks like Arsenal are going to make a change here. Maybe forced into that. Noni Madueke's getting himself ready, so maybe Leandro Trossard unable to continue. We have a huge goal to tell you about in Paris, and a massive chance in Frankfurt as well. Atalanta have just hit the post in Frankfurt in that one, so a big chance to break the deadlock there. But the deadlock has been broken in the French capital in Paris. PSG against Spurs, and it is Tottenham that have taken the lead in that one. The European champions behind. Ball to the back post, headed back across, and then headed in by Richarlison. And Tottenham Hotspur take the lead in Paris. It is PSG 0, Tottenham Hotspur 1. And Richarlison, who scored at the weekend against Arsenal, quite in an unorthodox fashion, but he scored anyway, has scored again tonight. And it is 1-0 to Spurs in Paris. That revenge arc of Thomas Frank after the Super Cup final They were 2-0 up against PSG Spurs in that one, and lost on penalties, of course. And they are leading PSG at the Parc des Princes so far. Steve says, I think Spain and England will have 5 back-to-back places in Champions League. I don't see other leagues can challenge them. Yeah, I think England is very, very strong at the minute. Remember, we only have 6 teams from England in the Champions League because of one of them won the Europa League last year. Otherwise it would be 5. Because obviously Spurs won the Europa League, that's why they're in the Champions League. But they did get all 5, as well as Spain, of course, yeah. And it just seems like England and Spain seem to be the strongest countries at the moment in Europe. I mean, we talk about Bayern, obviously from Germany, and maybe Dortmund getting themselves up in the mix there. So Germany's having a bit of representation at the moment. A little bit of Italy, Inter up there as well, but mostly dominated by either England or Spain, and certainly seems to be the way at the moment. So far here, it's Arsenal 1, Bayern Munich 1. Arsenal took the lead to Jurrien Timber, but Lennart Carl, the young 17-year-old, levelled the game for Bayern Munich after a 24-pass possession for Bayern. It all really came down to the 2 massive crucial passes. Beautiful long diagonal from the back out to Michael Olise, and then fired in, or sorry, Serge Gnabry, apologies, on that right-hand side. It switched with Olise that time. He played it across and found Lennart Carl in the middle. Here is Olise on the right-hand side trying to find Gnabry. Couldn't quite reach it and bring it down, and Saka tracking back, having to fire it out for a throw-in. Just over 5 minutes to go with the first half, and all square here, and probably fairly so, I would say, to this point. And it is all square. I think Arsenal have played well in moments, but Bayern have also shown their opportunities. Certainly their control of the ball has been impressive at times, Bayern. And kind of something that is in stark contrast to what we watched last night at Stamford Bridge, when Barcelona really couldn't get any control of the ball away from home in that game and ended up getting absolutely pasted by Chelsea. Ultimately tonight, Bayern holding their own in and out of possession. But want to at least hold on to a level game if they can, heading into half-time. And really inspiring team talk that could be at half-time for Vincent Kompany. Just feel if Arsenal retake the lead, it will be a bit of a downer for Bayern in that first at half-time, really. And of course, Arsenal, this is only part 2 of a 3-part massive week for them. The North London derby, the tick, and the win in the bag, and then Bayern here at home tonight, and then a massive game away at Chelsea on Sunday, as the Premier League's top 2 going into the weekend face off at Stamford Bridge to conclude match day 13 in the Premier League at the weekend. And what a huge game that is, what a huge week for Arsenal. If they can come away with 3 wins, it would be almost solidified as them being certainly one of the best and informed teams in Europe, but certainly the favourites to try and go on and win the Premier League title. Here's David Raya. Long ball forward, trying to find the run of a Berrieza, and Madueke's there trying to chase it down. Bayern able to just get rid of it quickly with Manuel Neuer. Now Olise trying to switch it, trying to find Carl, who was well blocked, but Harry Kane trying to get himself involved. Well blocked up by Mosquera. Cycle back. Drag down of Saka there by Konrad Laimer, and that's going to get him a yellow card. Also going to be another yellow card coming out. Mikel Arteta's really furious down there. about the fact that Saka was so cynically fouled, and Conrad Laimer gets himself a yellow, and he went absolutely berserk after the challenge by Laimer on Saka. I think he got himself a yellow card there, if I'm not mistaken. He did indeed. Mikel Arteta's got himself in the referee's book as well. He's always animated, Mikel Arteta. Always animated. Last 2 minutes of the first 45. We'll see how long will be added on at the end of the first half here, but at the moment, final few minutes, Arsenal with it at the back. Gotta say, both teams have been clinical so far. There hasn't been major goalmouth action on too many occasions from either team. Both have found the back of the net, both with just the one shot on target so far, and both finding the back of the net with said shot on target. That's a nice ball by Zubamendi, out wide to Madueke. He had to come on for the injured Leandro Trossard, who did go straight down the tunnel, by the way, which is a disappointment. Ball round the corner, here's Timber across, and in there was Madueke, and Upamecano covering him, allowing Manuel Neuer to end up getting the ball. But we see it here, great switch ball out to the right, Timber with the ball headed across, and then it was Madueke that was in the middle. Was he pushed in the back there by Upamecano? I think he was, but I don't think it's a penalty. Just battling for the ball, if I'm honest. There's not much. It's a little bit of contact, but a bit dramatic. There's Gnabry playing as a centre midfielder at the minute. It's Neuer, distributed out to the right flank. Ball played in behind for Lennart Carl. Beautiful first touch. Takes it into space, lays it back out wide to Elise. Harry Kane drifting in behind. 6 Arsenal players in his wake. Elise trying to pick out Harry Kane, who dragged it around his man, but Mosquera just about held him there, and it's bounced around. Goodness me, that could have went anywhere from William Saliba. And luckily David Raya was alert, otherwise Harry Kane would have had a chance. Saliba tries to hit it away, and it hits the backside of Martin Zubamendi. That could have really been a calamity there from the Gunners, but no damage done in the end. Here's Madueke, 3 additional minutes at the end of the first half. Here's Saka, drifted out to the left-hand side. Back to Declan Rice, told to shoot by the crowd. Tried to whip the ball in, blocked on the edge of the box. Rice trying to recycle it, blocked by Carl, out for the throw-in. See this touch from Lennart Carl again. Oh my goodness me, that is top tier from a 17-year-old. The touch is unreal. He's already got himself on the score sheet tonight, Lennart Carl. Look at those Bayern fans in that far corner, enjoying their night so far in North London. Arsenal going for the long throw from the left here. Into the box it comes, away by Pavlovic. Back to Rice, who recycles it round the corner to Mosquera. Now Eze. Saka. Back the way it goes to Urian Timber, who's the last man. Rice down the left-hand side, bursting forward. A goal in Paris to tell you about it. Jonathan Tah steps in to block the Declan Rice pass. Under a little bit of pressure, but they win themselves a throw-in down the right-hand side. A goal in Paris to tell you about. Spurs took the lead, but the European champions are back level, and Vitinha has got the leveller in Paris, so it is back to 1-1 there, and we'll get the sight of that now. I think it's from a corner. It's taken short by PSG down the left-hand side. And we see it here, fed across the edge of the area, at the edge of the D. Oh my goodness, what a goal from Vitinha. Top right corner, beautiful finish, edge of the area, unstoppable. 1-1 in Paris. Bit of subdued reaction. I mean, jump up and down a bit, will you? Beautiful goal by Vitinha. We've got that. The PSG midfielders have got that in their locker. Beautiful ball, just fed across, and oh my goodness, what a finish! Edge of the area. Beautiful goal, off the underside of the crossbar too. Beautiful. As last few seconds here, and there is the half-time whistle at the Emirates. A first half that is proving a little tougher for Arsenal this time around than it was at the weekend, and seemingly Bayern a much tougher test than Spurs seemed to be at the weekend. Arsenal took the lead through Yuri and Timber, but 17-year-old Leonard Carl has given Bayern the leveller, and that is what we have at the break. It's Arsenal 1, Bayern Munich 1. Your one last kick. This is gonna be it. This is the moment. Vicario kicks this, and Liverpool are there. Liverpool are Premier League champions, and there it comes. Crystal Palace, for the very first time in their history, are FA Cup winners. Oh, he's found the net. Oh, what a goal! Kvaratskhelia is through, wants to add a fourth, and does so. Ahmad, oh my goodness me! That is absolutely unbelievable. Race again. Oh! You thought he couldn't beat the first one. He's gone and bettered it. Another whip ball in. The header is in by Virgil van Dijk. Incredible. Welcome back to Champions League Live. Half-time at the Emirates. It's Arsenal 1, Bayern Munich 1 at the break. Let's quickly round up all the rest of the half-time scorelines from around the grounds. Atletico Madrid leading Inter by 1-0 in Madrid tonight. It's goalless between Eintracht Frankfurt and Atalanta. Liverpool, despite trailing in that game against PSV Eindhoven, they are level at the break, 1-1. Olympiacos 1, Real Madrid 3 is the scoreline there. A Kylian Mbappe hat-trick, a 7-minute hat-trick from Kylian Mbappe has them 3-1 up. It's PSG 1, Spurs 1 at the Parc des Princes. Spurs did take the lead in that game, but PSG leveled through a great goal from Vitinha. And Sporting lead Club Brugge by 2-0 at the break. Those early results: Copenhagen 3, Caoimhan 2, Paphos 2, AS Monaco 2. Right, the second half at the Emirates is on the way in just a moment. But I think a pretty low-key first half, if I'm honest. Both teams have had one big chance, and both teams have scored their big chance. Jurrien Timber's goal from a corner. Good dominant header in the area. They were claiming for a foul on Manuel Neuer, but never in a million years is that a foul. And then the only shot on target for Bayern Munich, a long diagonal from the defence out to that right hand side, beautifully taken in by Serge Gnabry, broke in behind the Arsenal defenders, squared it across the edge of the 6-yard box, and a really good half-volley finish from Lennart Karl, the 17-year-old. And Bayern Munich levelled the game. So it is all square at the break, and a big second half to come for these two teams. Which way will it go? We'll find out. Second half on the way next. Welcome back, and as you saw on that advert there, a reminder that match day 6 of the Champions League is in 2 weeks' time, when we're back in action, the 9th and 10th of December, the final action of this calendar year, and then we're back in late January for the final 2 games of the league phase. And some big games to come on match day 6. Liverpool's trip to Inter Milan is on Tuesday the 9th of December. That is at San Siro. And of course Real Madrid against Manchester City is the Wednesday night, the 10th of December. 2 huge games to look forward to on match day 6 of the Champions League. We're firing through all of these games and results this season, and so far so good for these two. Arsenal and Bayern Munich had won every game of their Champions League campaign so far, but at the minute it is all square at the break between the two teams. Very well matched at the moment. As I said, only one real big chance for either team, and they've scored said big chance for each team. So we will see what will come in the second half, whether one team can really take it by storm, or will it be more of the same. As I said, the last time these two met here at the Emirates, it was a 2-2 draw in the knockout stages, so the 23-24 quarter-finals. So we will see something similar, it seems, tonight. A very equal game between these two. A reminder for you, don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already. Hope you're enjoying the coverage tonight. 7 games in the Champions League, and all fairly even at the moment. A few games where one team has taken control, but quite a few games that are close, and all 3 English teams drawing at the break, so very tight when it comes to those English teams at the moment. And we'll see whether they can produce some results in the second half. It was only Chelsea that came away with victory last night of the English teams. Newcastle and Man City both beaten. What will we see tonight from the 3 remaining English teams? Arsenal will get us back underway then for the second half. No changes at the break from what I know, and both teams going out there trying to give themselves a boost, a chance to try and win it. Of course, if Bayern Munich were to win it, it would be a very big result. They would be the first team to win at the Emirates this season. Obviously, a visiting team, obviously. to win at the Emirates this season. And let's see if they can pull that off. But Arsenal, as I said, that great home record, it would be tough to stop. Lovely ball taken in by Olise there under pressure. Pounced at by Zubamendi and fouled by Martin Zubamendi. Free kick to Bayern. We haven't really seen much of Harry Kane so far, and really not much of Bukayo Saka either, albeit he did get that assist for the Arsenal goal, albeit from a corner. But star forwards not really shining in the early moments of this game. Stanisic to Olise to Jozovic Kimmich. Bayern seemingly starting the second half like they did the first, just controlling the ball and getting some early possession. Didn't really benefit them in the first half. Olise back to Manuel Neuer, switches it out to the right hand side for Karl. Comes deeper, plays it back to Upamecano, and back to Manuel Neuer again. Fired forward, Leonard Karl again, not as good a first touch that time around. And half cleared away, only scraped by Kimmich, and Saka with a chance. Fired over the crossbar, they want a corner Arsenal. They're going to get the corner. I think Manuel Neuer got something to that. See it again. And it was Leonard Karl's touch that was beaten upon, and then ball fired through, flicked on through the lines there by Marino, trying to find Zubamendi, and then the ball just breaks from Jozovic Kimmich's clearance to Bukayo Saka. He has a strike, and it is a firm right hand tip over the bar by Manuel Neuer. Behind for the Arsenal corner. Scored from their only corner so far, Arsenal. This is their second. Goes short, Saka. Nice little 1-2. Saka into the box. Cuts it back again to Eze. We'll try and lift it into the area, but headed clear by Leimer. Again, a loose clearance on that occasion by Jonathan Tah, and Harry Kane heads it back to Manuel Neuer under no duress whatsoever. You just feel like Bayern are one mistake away from giving away a goal. Looking a little bit loose in the last 2 minutes or so. Arsenal a little bit more intense in their press, and Bayern looking a little bit more fragile. That was nice though from Upamecano. Right to the left hand side for Gnabry, who's taking a run at Jurrien Timber here. Trying to play it through the lines and massively undercooked it to Harry Kane. All the way back to David Raya. The Arsenal goal. Rice just about clips it to Eze, who was caught a little late by Jonathan Tah, and a free kick to Arsenal. Real English says, did the Trossard injury look bad? Not really, but you wouldn't be too confident with the fact that he went straight down the tunnel, which is never a good sign for a player. Here's Saka down the right hand side up against Leimer. Leimer does well. Blocks it behind for the corner. Yeah, it never looks well when a player goes straight down the tunnel when they've gone down injured. So we'll wait and see what Mikel Arteta has to say. But there was nothing visually I could see that was majorly wrong. It could be a muscular issue, but we'll find out from Mikel Arteta surely after the game. But he went straight down the tunnel, which, as I said, is never usually a good sign for a player. Saka to take this corner then. Third on the right hand side of the night for Arsenal. First was a goal, the second was cleared, and what will the third hold? Saka, left footed delivery, it's deep into the box, and the referee's just got to stop it here for a second. The ball was delivered in, but the referee's just going to pull it back for a foul. Was there a bit of pushing and shoving? There was, and Mikel Merino just double-handed shoves Serge Gnabry to the ground. And if I'm honest, I wouldn't retake that if I was the referee. I'd just give a foul. Just looked like a foul to me. Very congested area. We have another goal in Paris to tell you about PSG against Tottenham Hotspur, and Spurs are back in front. And you'll never guess who scored it. We'll tell you in a second with this Arsenal corner incoming then. They get to retake it. Arsenal get another chance at this corner. Left footed from Saka. Delivered in this time. Bouncing around. It's not cleared away. Still alive as it's flicked into the area. Up in the air it goes. Half cleared by Bayern and then fully cleared by Joshua Kimmich, who gets it firmly away. Eza trying to recycle it. Saka in behind. Cuts it back. Moreno hits it off balance over the bar for a goal kick. Right, to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium to tell you, or to the Parc des Princes to tell you what Spurs have done, and that is that they've scored for the second time tonight against the European champions, and it is far from convincing defending from PSG, I gotta say, from the corner. Terrible, the first and second phases. Cleared off the line by Dembele, I believe it is, from Archie Gray's stretch, or it's William Pacho actually. It's rebounded away, and the player who scored for Spurs is the player who's on loan from PSG to Spurs. Randall Kolo has scored, and Spurs are back in front. They lead by 2-1, and he took a really clean strike on the volley, couldn't be kept out by Marquinhos, and it is PSG 1, Spurs 2 in Paris. It'll be a massive result for Spurs. Remember, they're unbeaten in the Champions League this season. Tottenham 2 wins and 2 draws from their first 4. And they win tonight, they would be 3 wins and 2 draws and move up to 5th on 11 points if they were to beat PSG tonight. We will see. At the moment, so far so good. We have another goal in Greece to tell you about between Olympiacos and Real Madrid, and after that purple patch for Real Madrid, that Kylian Mbappe hat-trick that scored in 7 minutes. Well, Olympiacos have got one back again. And could they be fighting back in that game? It's Olympiacos 2, Real Madrid 3 in that one. And very intriguing game there in Greece so far. Mehdi Taremi with the goal there has got Olympiacos back in the game again. Zubimendi there giving away a free kick, which he was not too happy with. There's been another goal at Anfield to tell you about. Liverpool 1, PSV 1. Well, it's just changed again, and not in the favour of the home team. PSV are back in front, and it is 2-1 to the visitors there, and it is Gus Till that has scored from Mauro Junior's pass, and it is 2-1 to PSV Eindhoven. And after all the good work of Liverpool in that first half to get back level and to try and threaten to take the lead themselves, well, they've gone behind again, and it's 2-1 to PSV Eindhoven. So it's 2 steps forward and 1 step forward and 2 steps back really for Liverpool on that one. It is Liverpool 1, PSV 2. Here come Arsenal again. Rice trying to cross it, blocked by Limer, behind for the corner. Goals flying in everywhere at the minute. Haven't had time to take a glance back at our own game and keep an eye on this one that is finely poised at the minute here at the Emirates. Arsenal 1, Bayern Munich 1 at the moment. So much to keep you up to date with and so much happening. Another goal in Madrid and a goal as well in Paris to tell you about again. It's all happening. We'll tell you about those in a moment after this Arsenal corner. Saka again will deliver. Left footed into the area. Up and away by Harry Kane. Got his head to that one. Back out wide to Saka again. Gets it onto his left foot. Whips it in once more. And the header by Moreno is into the hands of Manuel Neuer. Right, lots to tell you about. An equaliser in Madrid. Inter are back on terms. It is 1-1 there. And it is Piotr Zielinski that has got the goal. It is 1-1 there. And PSG, for the second time tonight, have levelled the game against Spurs. It is 2-2. And it is Vitinha again who has scored. It is his second of the night for PSG, second of the night. As here comes Leonard Carl for Bayern. Low-key effort right at the goalkeeper. Comfortable for David Raya. Everywhere I look, there's goals at the minute. And 2-2 in that PSG Spurs game at the moment. Still goalless though between Eintracht Frankfurt and Atalanta. The only game without a goal so far. Beautiful ball by Raya, finding Saka. Ezenai trying to work it out wide to Madueke, who was blocked on that occasion by Olise. He was tracking back. And it is it's gone out for a throw-in, I believe. 11 minutes going in the second half, and you really feel like this game's finally poised. It could go either way. At the minute, with Arsenal at all their corners, you feel that it might just be edging in their favour. Stanisic couldn't keep that one from going behind for a corner. Yeah, we see how many Arsenal corners have they had in the second half. I think this might be their 4th or 5th of the second half alone. And we've only played 11 and a half minutes, so they're certainly trying to threaten from set pieces more. The Gunners. It's where their goal came from in the first half. Trying to use that route to try and find a second goal. Here's Declan Rice. Whips it in with the right foot. Deep to the back post, and the header is just wide for Mikel Merino, who can't believe he hasn't found the net there. See it again. Yeah, it just glances off the back of his head, and I think he thinks he scored. Just goes narrowly wide off the back of his head. Very close, but ultimately no goal, and he had his head in his hands there. Did Mikel Merino. Well, we told you that it was goalless between Frankfurt and Atalanta. We'll talk about commentators' curse. It didn't remain goalless for too much longer after that, because Atalanta have got 2 goals in the last 2 minutes. It is now 2-0 to Atalanta from literally nowhere. Ademola Lookman with the first and Ederson with the second. It is Frankfurt 0, Atalanta 2 from literally nowhere. My goodness. As Madueke was brought down there by Deo Upamecano. Some of the remonstrations from the Arsenal bench that Upamecano already on a yellow. Probably should have seen another one, and yeah, there's no. It's a free kick, but nothing more. Yeah, it's not a yellow card. It's not even worthy for a first yellow, never mind a second. And Mikel Arteta got himself booked in the first half. Vincent Kompany's just got himself booked right there. So both managers entering the referee's book. Free kick to Arsenal then. Left hand side, Rice to take, right footed, whiz towards the box, bouncing down, and the header is somehow cleared away. I think Mosquera got his head to it. Monoir, I think, made the save, but that was a little bit awkward. Ball into the box and it just bounces, and the bounce of it, yeah, it's headed on by Mosquera. And a very, very good save by Manuel Neuer. Throws his arms at it and denies Christian Mosquera a headed goal. Another Arsenal corner. They seem to be on top at the minute, the Gunners, to try and retake the lead. Rice's delivery deep to the back post, headed away. Bayern hanging on a little bit at the minute, as it's given away cheaply, but Bayern unable to make anything of the counter-attack. Another goal in Greece to tell you about. Olympiacos against Real Madrid, and Real Madrid have now scored a 4th goal to make it 4-2, and it is Kylian Mbappe again. It's 4 goals on the night for him. This one a little bit of a tap-in, shall you say, but they all count, and Kylian Mbappe's got 4 goals on the night for Real Madrid. Everything at the minute seems to be going through him, and it is 4-2 to Real Madrid. Another goal in Paris, and despite leading twice, it is now PSG 3, Spurs 2, and PSG trailing twice to Spurs, and they've had that quick turnaround to now lead the game by 3-2. Fabian Ruiz with the goal on 59 minutes. It's PSG 3, it's Tottenham Hotspur 2. To see where this comes from. Oh, it's just poor in possession, deep in their own third. I mean, that's just calamitous from Spurs. I mean, it's horrendous. Backheel by João Neves, and a nice tucked finish by Fabian Ruiz past Vicario to make it 3-2. Let's update you around the ground just quickly then. Arsenal 1, Bayern Munich 1, Atletico Madrid 1, Inter 1, Frankfurt 0, Atalanta 2, Liverpool 1, PSV 2 in that one, Olympiacos 2, Real Madrid 4, PSG 3, Spurs 2. And here come Arsenal now trying to take the lead. Rice, the chance blocked and cleared off the line into the hands of Manuel Neuer. Probably should have been a goal, if I'm honest. High it wasn't. My goodness me. Bayern are getting away with murder here at the minute. They really should be behind. Why Arsenal are not in front is a little bit beyond me at the minute. 28 minutes to go. Arsenal 1, Bayern Munich 1. And a shove in the back there of Bukayo Saka. It's going to get him a free kick. Conrad Leimer, who's on a yellow card, has to watch himself. My goodness me, how's that not go in? Rice has the shot, saved by Neuer, onto the path, close to Saka, and it's Lima that makes the touch to get it away, but Saka gets anything to that, and that's 2-1 Arsenal. But my goodness me, how close was that? They're definitely pushing desperately for to retake the lead, Arsenal. Bayern Munich hanging on in there at the minute. They've had 3 shots on target in the second half, Arsenal, in just 17 minutes. They had 1 shot on target the whole of the first half. They've certainly upped the tempo and turned the screw so much more. The English teams, none of them are winning at the minute. It's level here, Spurs and Liverpool losing at the moment. Bayern Munich just look like they're hanging in at the minute. It's not for the want of trying from Arsenal's point of view that they aren't in front. Liverpool had a big chance at the back post, headed behind for a corner, as I think Saka's given away a foul here. You see it again, Conrad Leimer against Saka. That's a little soft in my opinion. Saka gets it harshly penalised, if I'm honest, there by the referee. It is a free kick to Bayern, but that was soft. Referee tonight, Marco Guida from Italy. Konate just had a big chance as well for Liverpool at Anfield, unable to convert from a corner. Header just blocked in the area, but Liverpool pushing to regain a leveler there at Anfield. It remains Liverpool 1, PSV 2. PSG now leading Spurs 3-2, and here come Bayern in behind Arsenal. Could be a smashing grab. No room for Elise to get the ball across. Well blocked and cleared away, but first real foray forward for Bayern Munich in about 10 minutes. 10-15 minutes. They've really not got out of their own half. For the majority of this second half, Bayern have been hanging on to make sure they're not behind in this game. Here's Elise out wide. It goes to Carl, back to Elise. Inside to Upamecano. Nice movement this. Upamecano out wide. It goes to Elise. Back again to Upamecano. Not much room to find in behind Arsenal. 25 minutes to go. Arsenal 1, Bayern Munich 1. After Arsenal's strong spell, Bayern trying to push up the field, and they've given it away cheaply here. Here's Eze. Linking it up nicely with Timber. Back to Eze. Lots of bodies behind the ball now for Bayern again. Another goal in Paris between PSG and Spurs. Spurs led twice tonight, but they're going to be behind. They are behind, and they're going to be further behind. It is PSG 4, Tottenham Hotspur 2. And what seemingly was looking like a good night for Spurs in a very competitive game is going to turn into a real rout again. For the second successive game, they've conceded 4 goals in back-to-back away games, and it is now 4-2 to PSG. And this time it's William Pacho with a really nice finish, by the way, from a corner, from the rebound of a corner, and he has given PSG now a 2-goal lead. It is PSG 4, Tottenham Hotspur 2. What a game there in Paris. Yeah, it's poor defending from Spurs, nicely taken on down and finished by William Pacho into the far corner. Nicely taken. Wonderful goal. 4-2 to PSG. 4-2 to Real Madrid in Olympiacos. It is now 3-0 to Atalanta against Eintracht Frankfurt. So what was a game that was 0-0 about 5 minutes ago, 5-6 minutes ago, is now 3-0 to Atalanta. All 3 goals coming in a 5-minute period, and Charles de Ketelaere, who got the first, set up the first goal, he's added his name to the score sheet. It is now 3-0 to Atalanta in Frankfurt. Is Arsenal going to make a double change? Bukayo Saka's night is done. Gabriel Martinelli's coming on in his place. And the second substitution, I think, is going to see Ricardo Calafiori coming on as well. It is. And Miles Lewis-Skelly is going to be replaced by him. So Lewis-Skelly and Saka off. Martinelli and Calafiori on. So Arsenal making changes, giving some fresh legs off the bench to try and turn this game in their favour. A quarter of it to go. It remains level. Poor ball there down the left-hand side by Jonathan Tah. Bayern have looked a little bit more disjointed in the second half. They really haven't put much together going forward. You've got to say, really, at any point tonight, they haven't put much together up front. That big chance for Lennart Carl, they were clinical when they got their one and only chance of the game, but haven't really done much other than that at Bayern Munich, and that is a worrying sign in the fact that they really haven't done very much. Try and keep themselves right in the mix with Arsenal. It seemed to be a little bit of one-way traffic in the second half. That's a poor ball by Upamecano, gives it away to Rice. Eze now down the left-hand side, ball whipped in, back post, and it's in. And Arsenal are back in front, and it's Noni Madueke with a strike at the back post. And Arsenal lead by 2-1. I said that Bayern have been hanging on for the majority of the second half, and Arsenal retake the lead, and it is as little as they deserve. Arsenal 2, Bayern Munich 1, and Arsenal thoroughly deserve it. Noni Madueke with a goal. Again, it's poor from Bayern Munich, if I'm honest. Just a long ball, Upamecano, blind pass to no one. Declan Rice wins it, plays it out to the left-hand side for Eze, waits for the underlap from Ricardo Calafiori, who whips it in nicely across the 6-yard box, and it's Noni Madueke at the back post, strikes it, takes it down with his left, and strikes it into the back of the net to give Arsenal the lead for the second time tonight. Wonderful ball across, nicely finished by Noni Madueke, and it's Arsenal 2, Bayern Munich 1. And just look at the face of Harry Kane on that one. There you have it. And that really should be a bit of headroom now for Arsenal. And probably, as you say, fully deserved from the way that they've played tonight and the the play that they've had. Certainly in the second half, they've just stepped up past Bayern Munich and taken that extra step further forward. And Bayern just really at times in this second half just have not been able to keep with them. There's a free kick here for Bayern Munich in the Arsenal half. So they'll have to do what they did in the first half once again, and to try and get themselves back on terms again. We've another goal at Anfield to tell you about, and what a night this will be for PSV Eindhoven. And they are now 3-1 up, and Liverpool's troubles and worries continue. And Arne Slot, not looking good for him and his team at the moment, who got themselves all the way back level in that game in the first half after that poor start where they conceded early. Well, they've conceded 2 goals, and he can't bear to look, Arne Slot, at the moment. Liverpool 1, PSV Eindhoven 3. And that is really a dismal night. It will be again for Liverpool. This time Kuyab Drujek with the goal. And it is 3-1 to PSV Eindhoven. Wow, what a result it would be there at Anfield. That will be a real body blow for Liverpool, who seemingly on the up in Europe, but certainly not tonight. As Bayern Munich are going to make a double change here, with 18 minutes to go, with them trailing and needing a chance to try and get back into the game again. They're going to make a double sub. And I'll tell you those subs in a moment, as I've just missed them. So I was telling you about that Liverpool scoreline. Down the right hand side come Arsenal. At the moment it's Arsenal that will be, as it stands, the only team that will remain with a 100% record in this Champions League campaign. They would have 5 wins out of 5, and that would be the way it would stand, because Bayern would lose, obviously, courtesy of Arsenal tonight, and Inter are currently drawing away at Atletico, so Arsenal would remain the only side with a 100% record at this point of the campaign. That's as it stands. Of course, Inter could come back and win that game, and that could change things, so a lot can still happen. But Arsenal 2, Bayern Munich 1. What a fascinating night it's been here so far. Again, really good top quality goals, all 3 of them, and really well carved out. And that's what we like in top Champions League games. Teams giving each other a couple of punches and throwing some good chances. And the Arsenal fans loving it. Having a good night, enjoying themselves, and they're looking massively like one of the favourites this season. William Saliba was given a yellow card, by the way. But I know it's early to talk. You know, we looked at what Liverpool did last season in the Champions League. We look at what Barcelona did, and neither of them got to the final in the of their well performances in the league phase. It does come down to what you do in February, March, April time, when it is the knockout stages, but it is looking really bright for Arsenal. And again, it all underpins on how strong their defence is and how solid they look at the back. Albeit they have conceded tonight, but as I said, it's the first goal they've conceded in the Champions League this year, so it's certainly not a regular occurrence. We've another goal in Paris, by the way. It's turned into a real mad fest there in Paris. It is now 4-3. Spurs have got another goal. And if you had told Spurs fans coming into this game tonight they would score 3 goals in Paris, they would believe that they would certainly be winning. But they're losing at 4-3. Randall Colomwani with his second of the night against his parent club. And it is PSG 4, Spurs 3. Could they come back in that game, Spurs? You never know. It's only 1 goal now and still 15 minutes in that game, so still a good bit to go for it to change. It's changed multiple times tonight. And Bruges are Sporting now, sorry, are 3-0 up. They've just scored against Club Bruges. So it is 3-0 there for Sporting. They seem like they're cruising to a home victory. Francisco Trincao with the goal there. It is 3-0 to Sporting. Less than 15 minutes to go here. Arsenal 2, Bayern Munich 1. Bayern a little bit more offensive than they have been in the last few minutes, since it's needs must really at the minute. They trail by 2-1 and remain unbeaten this season in every competition, in every game. They have dropped a couple of points, they have drawn a few games, but they have yet to lose. Will it be against Arsenal tonight that will be the first time this season? And they're in behind, and the keeper's come for it, and he's missed it. This should be a certain goal. Martinelli makes it 3-1. And that is surely game, set, and match Arsenal. Terrible from Manuel Neuer. I don't know where he thought he was going, but he never got there. And Gabriel Martinelli rounds him. And an empty net, 25 yards out. And Gabriel Martinelli has one of the easiest goals of his career to give Arsenal a 2-goal advantage. And my goodness me, I don't know what planet Manuel Neuer was on there, but he was nowhere near getting to that ball. And my goodness, you can't give a gift of a goal to Arsenal, and that's exactly what Bayern Munich have just done. And I think they can wave bye-bye to that unbeaten run. Again, you see it here, it's just a little counter-attack, but they've got ample bodies. I mean, there's nothing there, and in behind comes Martinelli, but where is Manuel Neuer? I mean, Gabriel Martinelli gets the ball around the edge of the centre circle, inside the centre circle. I mean, where is Manuel Neuer going? Not in a million years was he getting anywhere near that. Terrible goalkeeping. But in the end, great for Martinelli, makes the beautiful run in behind. They committed too many bodies forward, really, Bayern. Didn't have the cover. The goalkeeper doesn't help it in the fact that he comes running out 40 yards and gets nowhere near the ball and gives him an empty net to score into. But my goodness me, that is surely the game done and dusted now. And Bayern Munich taking the risk to try and fight back to level the game. They've given away a pretty cheap goal, and that will give away any hope of points surely here at the Emirates for Bayern Munich. Arsenal 3, Bayern 1. And now they're in behind again. He's come again, Neuer, this time a lot less of a distance. And he does get there that time. And he does find a ball to a teammate. But, my goodness. Talk about terrible decision making for the first one. It was absolutely horrendous from the goalkeeper. It's Arsenal 3, Bayern 1. And that is surely game over. But, wow. Talk about strange decisions from a goalkeeper. Bayern Munich, certainly, I have to say, it was an even affair in the first half, no doubt about it. I think the scoreline reflect that, that it was level at the break. But since the second half started, it's just been all Arsenal. Bayern Munich have literally done nothing. And Arsenal get those 2 goals to make it 2-1 and 3-1, and they cruise their way to a finish, it seems here. A reminder for you that there's another goal in Paris. My goodness. Well, after Spurs' attempt of a fight back, they give away a penalty, and it's been conceded. It's been scored by PSG. Vitinha completing the hat-trick, and it is PSG 5, Tottenham Hotspur 3. What a game in Paris. And there's still over 10 minutes to go, so anything can still happen. But it's PSG 5, Spurs 3, and surely it will be too much of a climb for Spurs to make now in Paris. But you never know. You never know. You just don't. Mikel Merino given a yellow card as well there. But what a night it will be for Arsenal. They lead by 3-1, and they're going to make some changes into the final 10 minutes. I'm going to see Martin Odegaard return after his injury. He's back on the bench this evening, and he's going to be coming on for the final 10 minutes, the Arsenal club captain. Very Eze is going to make way, and Ben White's coming on as well. So Timber and Eze off, White and Ødegaard on for Arsenal. As I glance to my left and have another look at the game at Anfield, Liverpool 1, PSV Eindhoven 3. And it's not for the one to try. And I mean, you look at the stats of that game. Liverpool have had 24 shots, 9 on target, but just the 1 goal to show for it. And PSV Eindhoven have had 8 shots, 5 on target, and they've scored 3 goals on the night. So it's not that Liverpool haven't created the chances, they just haven't taken them. And it's very similar to the game at the weekend in Nottingham Forest. They had 21 shots at the weekend and didn't score, Liverpool. So some real problems of finishing their dinner at the minute. They're creating the chances but not finishing them, and that's the most important part, surely. And Liverpool 1, PSV Eindhoven 3 at the moment. As it stands, it looks like Arsenal and Chelsea will be the only 2 English teams that will win in this week of the Champions League. The others will all lose, it seems, at the moment. Spurs losing, Newcastle lost, City lost last night, and Liverpool are losing as well. So looks like Arsenal and Chelsea, the golden 2 at the minute, and they play each other at the weekend. What a finely poised setup that is for Sunday afternoon. The final day of November. And what a night, what an action that will be at Stamford Bridge. Rocking atmosphere in a London derby as the top 2 of the Premier League face off. Very exciting affair. Here's Declan Rice. 8 minutes to go of the game, and Rice couldn't keep the ball in play there. We've another goal in Olympiacos. 2 massively high-scoring games tonight across Europe, in Greece and in Paris. And it's another goal for Olympiacos. They've got a third. It's Olympiacos 3, Real Madrid 4. That game's still in the balance, despite crazy moments. Ayoub Al-Kabi has got the goal there to make it an interesting final 10. Kylian Mbappe's got all 4 Real Madrid goals tonight, by the way. And they lead by 4 goals to 3. My goodness. A reminder for you, Arsenal winning tonight, they would go, as it stands, 2 points clear at the top, but they would be 5 points clear of 9th place Manchester City going into the final 3 games, which gives them an almost certain, surely, chance of finishing in the top 8. And the fact they've not conceded and really looked unstoppable at times in Europe this season, but the fact that the mathematical advantage is seemingly growing with the way that things have panned out this match week. Arsenal looking to really cruise away. Their next game is away at Club Brugge in the Champions League, and then they head to Inter, and then a home game against Kairat Almaty to come as well in the final game. So that Inter game will be an interesting one, but by that point they probably could be already secured a top 8 position in that one, but as it stands, that's the way we look at it. Bayern Munich would stay in the top 8. They would drop to 4th, so they would still be very much in the mix. No doubt about that. They have a home game against Sporting next time out before a trip to PSV, who are doing a number on Liverpool at the minute. That's on match day 8, and Union Saint-Gilloise on match day 7 of the Champions League phase, as Chiesa had a big chance there for Liverpool, just deflected behind. But they're certainly pushing. Every time I look over at that Liverpool game, they're having a chance, but not able to take those chances again, Liverpool, tonight. It seems to be. Arsenal certainly taking their chances here, and they could have another one. Martinelli trying to find Ødegaard. Just stopped, and I think the flag was up anyway against Gabriel Martinelli. Lots and lots of goals around Europe tonight. I mean, it's Van Dijk with a header over the crossbar there. And I'll count it up for you. I'll tell you how many goals we've seen tonight in our games. 31 goals in 7 games, which is over 4 goals per game, it seems, from the 7 that we're watching at 8 o'clock. 31 goals so far. Add on top of that the 9 we saw earlier, 40 goals across 9 games tonight, which is really quite intriguing. Really, really entertaining night of Champions League football. Funnily enough, there's only 2 teams that haven't scored tonight. Club Brugge and Eintracht Frankfurt are the only 2 teams that haven't scored. The 18 teams in action tonight. Both are losing 3-0, respectively. 4 minutes to go here at the Emirates. Arsenal 3, Bayern Munich 1. The game seemingly wrapped up after that 3rd goal from Gabriel Martinelli that surely put the game to bed for Arsenal. On the last 8 fixtures between these two, a 2-0 home victory. And the 15-16 group stages is Arsenal's only success against Bayern. They've drawn 2 and lost 5 of those last 8. In terms against German teams at all, Arsenal have only won 2 of their last 9 at games against German teams. On top of that, Bayern Munich have only lost 2 of their last 12 games against Premier League opponents. Won 8 and drawn 2 of those other 10. And they beat Chelsea, of course, 3-1 in Munich on match day 1 this season. So they certainly know their way around a Premier League team. Nice interception there by Calafiori. Carrying the ball forward, played out wide to Martinelli, and not many Arsenal players flooding forward on that occasion as it goes out for a throw to the Gunners. Well, you've got to say, Arsenal are in hot form. Actually, their 3-0 win against Slavia Prague on matchday 4 was 8 successive league phase victories. They won their last 4 of last season, and they've won their first 4 of this season. Going to make it 9, it seems, tonight. Successive league phase victories, Arsenal. And they've actually won their last 15 home group stage or league phase matches. And the last 12 they did without conceding, albeit they've conceded tonight. But so they're dominant at home in Europe. Defensively very strong as well. Elise. Last minute and a half. We've another goal at Anfield. Can you believe? And it's 4-1 to PSV Eindhoven. Again, another counter-attack. It's the man who scored the third, Dutrek, that has scored the 4th. And what finish. Really nice finish into the bottom right corner. All the pressure from Liverpool, but it just seems like Liverpool just cannot score for the life of them, and every chance their opponents get, they find the back of the net. It is now 7 goals they've conceded in back-to-back home games. That is horrendous for Arne Slot and his team. And it's just got worse and worse and worse. And they have a trip to West Ham at the weekend. And I'm sure Liverpool fans will not be wanting to watch that game, because it seems like at the minute their team cannot get anything. At the minute, we see this again. Simple counter-attack, but it seems very easy. It's one ball in behind, played across, no one tracking the runner. Cuts it back, edge of the box, really good finish into the bottom right corner. I mean, it's really easy looking. That's maybe why they're scoring every time, Liverpool's opponents at the minute, because they're making it easy for them. Right, back here at the Emirates, Arsenal 3-1 up against Bayern Munich. Free kick here. Race to take. Right-footed, whipped into the area, headed back across and into the hands of Manuel Neuer by Calafiori's header. As see the additional time. Be 4 minutes. You got to say, what a set of games tonight across Europe. Really intriguing, really interesting games, and a massive result it will be for Arsenal tonight to win this game. All the talk about how good these two teams have been coming into this competition, but Arsenal have just strode away and left Bayern in the dust really in this second half. Just stepped up 1 or 2 gears, and Bayern Munich have been nowhere able to keep up with them really at the minute whatsoever. Free kick here for Bayern Munich though. Elise to take. Elise lifted the ball into the area, headed away, not very far. There was the shot was blocked, and then the follow-up is round the corner and it's cleared away. And then another one is over the crossbar from Kim, and that's a goal kick. Yeah, Bayern have made 5 changes, by the way, but they've all come very recently, and certainly 3 of them very recently. All over at Anfield, Liverpool 1, PSV Eindhoven 4. It is finished. That game's over and done. Atalanta have beaten Frankfurt by 3-0. We'll round up all of tonight's scores and tell you what way the table looks after the final whistle's gone on all of our games. Still 2 minutes to go here between Arsenal and Bayern Munich. 3-1 it remains. And just a perfectly balanced team at the minute, Arsenal. And doing everything right. Seemingly unstoppable at the minute are the Gunners. Oh, is Manuel Neuer a little bit too close for comfort there, surely, and Bayern clear it away. Last minute or so of the game. Switch ball out to the right hand side. Nicely taken in by Olise. The goal in Madrid to tell you about. Elise's ball in, cleared away. Bouncing away from the Arsenal box. As Elise trying to win it back, has given away a free kick. Goal in Madrid. Atletico Madrid 1, Inter Milan 1 was the scoreline. It is now 2-1 to Atletico Madrid there. So they have retaken the lead, and it looks like it is going to be Arsenal that will be the only team with a 100% record. And the only team that will, had that 100% record, that will remain unbeaten come the end of tonight, obviously. Atletico Madrid are now 2-1 to the good. There's also been a red card in Paris as well. PSG down to 10. So that's also happened in the process with the last minute or so. And it is Jose Maria Jimenez that has given Atleti the lead for the second time on the night, and the one in Metropolitano. And Diego Simeone, my goodness, running down the touchline there, loving that late goal. A late winner from Atletico. Here's a chance for Arsenal. Odegaard not given the time and space as it's cleared away. 4 minutes are up, and the ball all the way back to Manuel Neuer. Time is surpassed, and Bayern are just playing with it at the back here. Surely he should blow the whistle, referee. Nothing's going to happen. Taking his time. There is the final whistle. And what a night for Arsenal. What a result for Arsenal. What a performance from Arsenal. They were held really by Bayern Munich in the first half. A fairly even first half, but Arsenal strode out in the second and never looked back. They took the lead for the second time on the night when Noni Madueke struck in, and Gabriel Martinelli given an empty net to add the third to really put the game to bed. But it was Jurrien Timber's opener that got Arsenal off the mark. Bayern did level through Lennart Karl with a wonderful goal. But as I said, that second half performance just took Arsenal away from Bayern to a level they just could not keep up with. And it is 5 wins out of 5 for Arsenal. The start of a Champions League campaign for the first time since 2005. And they are really looking firing to be one of the best teams in Europe, if not the best team in Europe at the minute. My goodness, they're showing it. Final score at the Emirates, it's finished. Arsenal 3, Bayern Munich 1. And let's remind you of all of the score lines tonight. It's still underway. It's still going between PSG and Spurs, but that's the only game that is remaining. So let's round you up of all the games tonight. Copenhagen 3, Caoimhan 2, Paphos 2, AS Monaco 2, Arsenal 3, Bayern Munich 1, Atletico Madrid 2, Inter Milan 1. Eintracht Frankfurt beaten at home 3-0 by Atalanta. Liverpool 1, PSV Eindhoven 4, Olympiacos 3, Real Madrid 4, PSG 5, Tottenham Hotspur 3, that game's still going but it should conclude any second, and Sporting 3, Club Brugge 0. A great set of results for some teams and not for others tonight. Certainly not for 2 English teams beaten quite comfortably in the end. PSG and PSV having their way with Spurs and Liverpool tonight respectively. In those games, late winner from Atletico Madrid, a big set of goals from Arsenal tonight, a big result for them to win as well, make it 5 wins out of 5. A tough game for Real Madrid away at Olympiacos, but all 4 of Kylian Mbappe's goals sealed the deal for Real Madrid, and Sporting a comfortable home victory for them in the end against Club Brugge to make it all 3 points. That's the way it looks from all of those games tonight. Let's tell you how the table looks. We will do that in a moment because they're still playing in Paris for some bizarre reason. They're in the 7th minute of 4 added, and they're waiting on this Spurs corner delivered into the box, punched away by the goalkeeper. It's a free kick to PSG, and that should surely be the final moment. Chevalier was fouled, so should be a free kick to PSG, and that should conclude that game. And it does. So that is all over. So let's tell you what that means for the table then. Well, there's no doubt who's top of the table. It is Arsenal who keep top spot. Their 5th win in 5 games this season. Just the 1 goal conceded. It came tonight, but despite that, they put another 3 past Bayern. PSG move themselves up to 2nd, 4 wins out of 5 for them. They're on 12 points, as are Bayern Munich, who've dropped tonight after their defeat away to Arsenal. Inter also beaten away from home. They drop a couple of places on 12 points. And Real Madrid moving themselves up the table up to 5th with their big win away from home. They're on 12 points. So a number of teams up there around the top. Dortmund, their win as well last night, along with Chelsea's win. They move on to 10 points, as do Sporting, Manchester City and Atalanta, as they make up the top 10. Newcastle losing, they drop down. They're on 9 points, as are Atletico, as are Liverpool, and as are Galatasaray. They're all on 9 points. 3 of those teams beaten over the last 2 nights. PSV Eindhoven move themselves up to 15th. With that win at Anfield. 2 wins, 2 draws and 1 defeat from their first 5 games this season, as do Spurs after their first defeat of the campaign tonight. They're in 16th, and then moving down the table into those 17th to 24th to see who's left for those playoff places. Bayer Leverkusen, Barcelona, Karabag, Napoli, Marseille, Juventus, Monaco and Paphos all make up the top 24. Into the bottom 12 then, and we'll tell you who, as it stands after 5 games, would be eliminated and not progressing. Réunion Saint-Gilloise, despite winning tonight, they are still remain outside the top 24 on 25th on 6 points, only outside the top 24 on goal difference. Club Brugge, 3 defeats out of their last 4 games, has them sitting 26th. Athletic Club as well in 27th, as are Frankfurt and come Copenhagen, all on 4 points. Only 2 teams on 3 points, Benfica and Slavia Prague. Benfica got their first win of the campaign, their first points of the campaign last night. They move up places. Slavia Prague drop down with only a point for their results tonight. Bodo Glimt also remain down towards the bottom, as are Olympiacos, Villarreal, Caoimhan del Mati, and the only team without a point in the Champions League this season are Ajax, who've lost all 5 of their games. Well, that is the full roundup of all of the results tonight and how the table looks after 5 matches. It is undoubtedly Arsenal who are the best team in Europe at the minute. 5 wins out of 5, just 1 goal conceded, and you gotta say they look imperious at the minute to Mikel Arteta's Gunners. Surely they are rusing their way to a very, very bright season and what could be a little bit of European success. Still early, but they're giving some good early signs. A big win tonight against a very good Bayern Munich side, who also had 4 wins out of 4 coming into tonight. But Arsenal, in that second half, took themselves well away from Bayern and ended up making it 5 wins out of 5. Good night.